Good evening. We're going to go ahead and call our regular meeting to order. I apologize for starting late. We had some good conversation regarding our elementary specials. So we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Dr. Thomason, roll call.
President Reese, please let the record show that we have all 5 board members here tonight.
All right, welcome back, Mrs. Ford. We'll be able to hear you now, not just phone. All right, we're going to have our moment of silence followed by a pledge of allegiance. Four point oh, approval of the agenda.
Mrs. Reese, I move that we approve tonight's agenda.
I'll second it. Any questions or comments on the agenda? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. 5.0, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Thomason.
Yes, President Reese, members of the board. Not on the list tonight is our upcoming curriculum night at the elementary schools. Please note that Tuesday, August 2nd, we'll be having curriculum night at all of our elementary schools. Followed by Wednesday, August 10th, we'll have our work study at 5:30 and our board meeting at 6:30. And then Wednesday, August 24th, will be our next board meeting with the work study at 5:30 and the board meeting at 6:30. So we're off to a great start for the school year, and luckily, everyone is doing great.
Very nice. Yes. We had an uneventful start to our school year, which is good. Hot, though. It's really nasty out there.
That's because it's still July.
It is. It is. We were able to attend our ribbon cutting for our new School of the Bridges last week, and it was very exciting. We had Gilbert's new mayor, Jen Daniels, that was able to join us, and we had town council member Gordon Ray, and we had several businesses who came out and made donations to their PTO to get it started, which is really good. So it was a lot of fun. Then Bridges HOA did a movie night at the school, so it was a great start for our brand new school. I know I attended several Meet the Teacher nights and lots of families there, and happy to be sending their kids back to school. And so it was a very busy last week, but it was a nice last week. So any other board comments?
I just wanted to tell everyone thank you for smooth starts. From what I can tell from experience, it was, I think, probably the smoothest start we've had. And all those who helped with the Welcome Back rally. We were talking about culture in the other room, and I can just tell you I have received so many thanks and so many smiles and compliments for the theme and the effort that we want to put forward this year on focusing on our theme and really trying as a board and as a district administration that we really want to prove that everybody is somebody. So I know there was a lot of hard work behind the scenes that went to make that happen, so thank you to all of those who helped with that.
It was very nice, and I know, again, we did have a lot of discussion in the other room about culture, and I know with our Welcome Back rally, there were people who had come up and said, I was never invited before. It was so nice to be here. So they were really excited to be there. They enjoyed it. So it was a lot of fun. Mr. Witovich?
I'd just like to share with the board that as I went around to the different schools as opening up, that the number of non-teaching staff that have approached me and wanted to thank me and the rest of the board for supporting them for the 3.5 and being a united Higley Unified School District. I just want to let you know how much they appreciate it. I'm hearing that out there, so just want to share it with you guys. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Any other comments? All right. 6.0, request to speak to the governing board. Ms. Reach? All right, we don't have any requests at this time. 7.0, consent agenda.
President Reese,
Mrs. Whitener?
I move that we approve tonight's consent agenda items.
I second.
Mrs. Ford, that was a second?
Yes, sorry,
Okay. Any questions or discussion on our consent agenda?
Yeah, I do have one question, but please forgive me for not asking prior to, but there was something on there, a stipend for summer counseling. Do both of our high schools have a summer counseling stipend, or was it just one that was doing work for both schools? Or was maybe one high school had a stipend and it was the last meeting and I didn't see it?
President Reese, Mrs. Whitener, both high schools were given an allocation of 25 additional days for their school. And so those days were for the 15-16 school year. So last July and then this past June is when they could have used those additional 25 days. High schools were allowed to allocate those days however they wanted. So you may have approved even last July or August for several of those days for one of the high schools, maybe all of them at that time, and then maybe not so many this June. They may have not used them, and the other high school just may have saved some for this June, so you didn't approve very many last July, and those are coming forward for June.
Okay, and is that the principal who, I guess, approves that?
Yes.
Okay.
Moving forward, what we did
That's what I
with
was going to ask.
the override dollars, if you'll remember, we approved 20 additional days per counselor. That was in part to help with the lack of 301 money. We get that's still not a perfect plan and would still like to talk in the future about a pay-for-performance plan for them. But in the meantime, the 20 additional days per counselor. But again, we've given them some leeway on how to use that. So they might, some counselors or either of the schools might use 8 in July and 12 in June, or they might go 10-10. So we have given them some autonomy to figure out what works best for their school site. But it is 20 per counselor.
Okay, and just for my information's sake, does the principal report to HR and say this is when the days are, or does it go to HR?
They put in a supplemental that's like a not to exceed, and then before payroll will pay them for that, they have to turn in a timesheet that gets connected to the supplemental request.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries 5-0. We don't have anything under old business for 8.0, so 9.0, action and information items. 9.1, I move that we approve the 2016-17 food program permanent service agreement with the Arizona Department of Education.
Second.
Any questions?
I just kind of had a comment, maybe question. This looks new to me. Is it when we have? Because I thought it. Is this just for the lower socioeconomic, the food service students on the food service program?
President Reese, members of the board. Yes, this is an agreement actually that we have every single year. It's an annual contract with the Department of Education to be able to receive and participate in the National School Breakfast and Lunch Program. So that's federal funding that comes in. But before we can utilize or access those resources, we have to have this contract on file.
So the question was with the breakfast, is it just the cost share of the breakfast? Because a couple years ago, we had the free breakfast as a pilot for the federal program, but we're not doing that, correct? This is just for those who qualify.
That is correct, President Reese, members of the board. The cost share program that we had a few years ago was a program that was put together by Sodexo, and that was a program that they had implemented to try to increase participation.
Okay.
We are no longer participating in that program because they did not succeed in that, and it cost the district and Sodexo money in that aspect.
So how do we prepare when it comes to the breakfast? I mean, we know our students who are going to be there typically at lunch, but we don't know, and is that something we've worked with our current food service? Like,
Yes, absolutely. In visiting the schools this week, I have visited specifically for breakfasts, and we do not have a large participation in our breakfast program, but we do have students that do qualify for our free and reduced program, and we do have hot breakfast ready and available for them. It's just not a large percentage of our population that take advantage of that.
but that's kind of my question is, who's paying for that staffing in the morning? Is it from the federal funds that pays for that breakfast staff to be there?
That is correct. But
So
also,
that's not part of our food service contract.
it is part of our food service contract, but the staff that are there preparing those breakfasts, it's a small portion, and they're usually there preparing the lunch activities too. And so one person may be there just doing the cashier and handing out breakfast while the others are there preparing all of the lunch meals and getting ready for the rest of the day.
But the breakfast is funded through the federal program.
We do have individuals pay for profit too.
Oh, okay.
So for those who do qualify, I mean, I get we're only this was only our third day of school this year. It's going to take a few days. Do they get consistent information like, hey, you know that you can receive free breakfast or things like that, so we can encourage that participation?
Absolutely. We are processing applications regularly, and we have more applications to process there. I mean, we're processing hundreds of applications every day. We're getting them through as fast as we can.
I know,
But
and
not
it's
everybody-
early on.
Yes.
So I would just like to see that it's continuously communicated, that it is available. And I know for some of the kids it may be difficult for them to get there, like if they ride a bus. Sometimes just based on traffic and things like that, they may arrive a little bit later.
And we do know those kids that qualify for free and reduced lunch, we do reach out and encourage them to participate because if they qualify for lunch, they will qualify for breakfast.
Right, right. And we want to make sure that all of our kids are getting a good breakfast before they're going into school. So.
Right.
President Reese, members of the board, I just wanted to add a quick note. So last week and the week before, we did have staff at every one of the schools on different days there to assist any of the parents that were interested in setting up their mealtime accounts for their children.
For
And we
Meet the
also-
Teacher Night, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And at the same time, those that were interested in to complete the free and reduced lunch application, we were there to provide that assistance as well.
Okay.
Just to kind of give you an idea.
Perfect. Again, I know we're at our third day of school.
And our
It
phone
takes
is
some
ringing off the
time.
hook.
So I want to just make sure that we have that. Any other questions regarding the contract with the Department of Ed? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that everybody? I didn't. Mrs. Ford? Okay. You're down there. I can't hear you. So that passes 5-0. So we're at the end of our meeting. That was quick. So 10.0 is future agenda items we have on here for a technology update. Obviously, after our discussion when work study regarding our specials, we will be having more information come to us at our next work study regarding some further information regarding our elementary specials. Is there any any other items that we want to request?
Sure, President Reese, I'd like to, as far as an agenda item for the near future, is dual enrollment in AP. In reference to that, I'd like to see our numbers. In particular, I'd like to see how we market AP and dual to our students in reference to that. So if they could give us a presentation, that would be wonderful.
That's perfect. If we can make a note of that. I know trying to get the information in there. Right now, obviously, we've prioritized our specials and we want that information, and we know that that takes up a pretty much of a work study. So if we can try and get dual enrollment and AP information for our August 24th meeting, because I think that's important as our high schoolers are doing dual enrollment time. I think that information is important so we can try and get as much participation out there as we can. So if we can request that on our August 24th meeting. Along with that, if we could have how many AP tests the high schools took, what the passing rate is for how many of them got 3s, 4s, 5s, if we can try and get that information.
Absolutely, President Reese. I did have that in the superintendent's report, but I can bring that. Did you mean the August 24th meeting or the August 10th meeting?
August 24th for AP and dual enrollment. I truly believe that our continuing discussion regarding our specials is going to take up our entire time on the August 10th meeting, work study. So if we can get that presentation for AP and dual enrollment for August 24th.
Thank you.
I have a couple of things to add too. Just to make sure that on the 10th, the specials conversation does include library, obviously, because we want to talk about that further. And for me, I have this new thing, it seems like, that's going around the district that I wasn't made aware of, a no homework policy. That is news to me, which as a parent I don't hate, don't get me wrong, but I need some more information regarding this and why this came about.
We have homework.
I know at least 3 schools have adopted this in the district.
Does it talk about, I'm just going to ask just from having my kids, is it that it's not homework, it's practice?
No homework. It's a choice.
Okay.
You know, I saw that, and some of the parents out in the community have been asking that same question too. And I think they make reference to some study or something. I'd really like to see where they came up with this, because I think it's important as our children are competing on a global basis. I don't think the children around the world have that leniency in reference to their homework at young age as well. So I'd like to really see
So
this
Mr.
study.
Ritovich is requesting 5 hours of homework every night.
How about just a board?
He can come and do that with my children.
Can you include that information in your superintendent's
Yeah, a
report this
board
week,
email update.
or an email?
Absolutely. I will work with Dr. Schillingberg, and we'll get that to you this Friday.
Maybe it's just a Gilbert thing. Queen Creek, we have homework.
Just be sure it's
School.
Queen Creek, Gilbert, town.
Be sure it's known that Mr. Ritovich is asking that it's required. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Mrs. Ford, do you have anything else?
No, I do not. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Little?
I have a lot of things, but I'll keep it to myself for now.
All right. All right. Well, if we don't have anything else, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Have a good night.